Welcome back to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. Aurelio Martinez and Steve Johnson. And this is the second segment of our show today. And of course, we're going to spend this segment talking about the Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. I think it was a fight that was very. I mean, the whole world wanted to see this fight. The hype was there. Everything was there. And it actually
call it what it was. It was a major letdown.
Well, it was only a major letdown in the form that people were expecting maybe a little too much from a youngster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hate to use the word experience because Canelo has very many fights. He's got experience behind him. He just doesn't have that top plateau of experience, that contender type, and to go against someone like Floyd, you have to be the best. Okay, you can't be second best. You can't be part of the elite team. You have to be the best because right now and for the past number of years, Floyd's been riding that top mountain all by himself, and to be honest with you, it's going to take something special to knock him off that mountain. Okay, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure anyone will ever knock him off the mountain. I'm just going to. It's probably going to have to be one of them scenarios where he just decides to come down.
He decides to come down.
He just decides to come down. Retire and just walk away. Because I really don't think someone's going to be able to go up there. I don't see anyone. To be honest with you, if I had to guess and venture of anyone being able to do that in the future, I'd have to go back with Canelo. But you're talking 3 years down the road, at least, for Canelo to actually start gaining some of this top quality experience that I'm going to call it before he can get back in there with Floyd. So, and I'm not sure Floyd's going to be around in 3 years. I think Floyd's going to go ahead and just take his term out with Showtime, and he's going to be one happy camper, and he's going to go ahead and live life and enjoy life for the rest of his life, and not worry about getting in there and fighting. So,
well, I think that you're probably right. Probably right. Floyd, the only thing that could happen with Floyd, and the only reason I picked Canelo in this fight, just on a whim, is that, well, wait a minute, let me just say, on a whim I picked Canelo just because I thought this might be the fight where Floyd, like everyone does, at some point, stays a little bit too long. And I thought this might be it. Although against him, my better judgment told me no. But I said no. I was duped, like most Canelo fans, and I think I say that with much respect, into believing that Canelo was going to come out and he was going to pressure Floyd from the beginning. And like I told you and most of the people that know me, I said, I'll be able to tell you what's going to happen in this fight at the end of the first round. And at the end of the first round, there was no pressure from Canelo. He acted like he was waiting on Floyd to come to him, and we know Floyd is looking for you, seeing what you got.
Floyd's too smart.
Yeah, he's too smart for him. And so at the end of the first round, I actually said, we can go home. This is over with. Floyd's going to just slowly start to take him apart, which is what he did. He just ended up giving him a boxing lesson.
Right.
Now, part of this, Lelo, is that everyone has the same opinion on how to beat Floyd. And when I say everyone, I think most of us say, you got to pressure him because we haven't seen anybody pressure him. I'm now of the belief that maybe you can't pressure Floyd.
You can't pressure
Floyd. You can't pressure Floyd.
I've been saying that with all my colleagues and everyone where they say you gotta get in there and pressure Floyd. You can't pressure Floyd because he doesn't allow it. Okay, in boxing, when you get a typical fighter that uses that type of style of fighting where he's constantly moving forward and using pressure and doing this to his fighter, well, they're successful because of mainly one thing, is because with that pressure, it creates their opponent to start moving back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, obviously, you know, just common sense is the guy that's moving back is the guy that's going to have less on his power, less on his punches. He's not going to be able to hurt his opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you reverse the table and the guy moving forward has all his power, he's got power behind his punches. He's leverage behind his punches. So that's what gives him the advantage. And you can't pressure Floyd because Floyd's not going to move back. He's just not going to move back.
Yeah.
He's got that defense where he's going to turn that shoulder right into your jaw, and he's not going to move back. And then when you try to take a break, guess what? Then he takes advantage of that. So pressuring Floyd's not going to work. It's just you're not going to pressure. That's just like people saying pressure my man Peyton Manning in the Denver Broncos. Pressure him. Well, easier said than done.
Well, that's
Okay.
it. I think
Easier
you're right.
said than done.
Easier said than done. Because, like you said, and that's a pretty good analogy when I think about it. Because the people that are at the top of their game in any sport, they thrive on pressure. They actually thrive on pressure. And in the case, like you said, of a Peyton Manning, you bring it all to him, he's gonna find a weakness.
Oh, you leave a door open.
That's right. In order to,
Okay.
that's a good way to
You
say it.
leave a door
Yeah.
open, and he's going to find that door. Same thing with Floyd. If you pressure him, sure you're going to pressure him, but within your pressure, you're
You leave
leaving
something open.
You're leaving something open, and
he's
Floyd's
capitalizing
going
on it.
to capitalize. He's going to see it, and he's going to take advantage of it. So pressuring Floyd's not going to beat Floyd. It hasn't. If in 40-something odd fights, and it's not going to happen in the future. As a matter of fact, it actually plays into his game plan because it helps him preserve his energy. And you figure he's what, 37 now?
Yeah.
Okay, he could probably fight if he wanted to, well into his 40s, because no one's going to make him work to where he's going to exhaust his body. Plus, everyone knows Floyd's a gym rat.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not just saying this from hearsay.
Right.
I was in Floyd's
know.
camp three
Yeah.
times. We were in Floyd's camp 3 times, and I saw firsthand the lifestyle that this guy does, and it all revolves around his workouts, around his boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you just don't see that kind of dedication in boxers anymore.
Well, one thing, Aurelio, when you talk about that, that's another excellent point. Floyd has just that 24/7 discipline.
Oh, he does.
I mean, this is a guy that walks around weighing 150, and he can defend his welterweight title no problem, 147.
Right.
But he can fight somebody at 154 because this is a guy that just is in shape all the time. I mean, probably one of your ultimate athletes right now, current. I mean, when you talk about overall, there's probably not an athlete that's more in tune with his body, prepared to defend at any time, can handle himself inside that ring with anyone, able to take anything to anybody. I agree with you. I think that if Floyd were to get beat now before he retires, it would have to be someone that has some superior boxing skills and has that same type of dedication to his craft that Floyd does.
And we're not going to find that. I'm sorry, but you're not going to find that.
Right now, I believe.
That's what I'm
agree.
saying. If I had to pick someone, it would be Canelo. But
Yeah.
but I'm talking 3 years down the road. I'm
Right.
not talking about a rematch. And like you, I also said Canelo can win this fight. And I told everyone, they'd asked me, and I said, yeah, he can win this fight. But my selection of saying Canelo can win this fight and Canelo will win this fight was not based on he was a better fighter or a superior fighter than Floyd Mayweather. I was basing it 100% on the business, the financial part of it. Okay, this fight, this contest made so much money that had Canelo won the fight, a close, controversial fight, similar to the Castillo fight back way when, the rematch would have been off the chart.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking at. Okay, when you look at the big guys up there, the money people, the Showtimes, and people who are putting it down, this is something that they say would be the best scenario that can happen, was that somehow Canelo won this fight and it's an immediate rematch because it was somewhat controversial and because as you can see, we had one knucklehead judge that we won't even talk about that. But
Right.
but things like that happen in boxing. So can you imagine if there was 2 knucklehead judges in there and Canelo would have won that fight? My goodness, the next fight would have been just it would have been something else. It would have been something else.
But you and I know that Floyd's pride. You know,
exactly.
Never gonna let. I understand. We both heard the same rumblings of
yeah.
the fix is in.
Well, not so much a fix.
Well,
I don't want to say fix because I don't think
the fix doesn't have to happen in the ring. When
I'm
we
talking
say
about outside.
Yeah, when we say the action, okay, so we say the fix is in. But I think Floyd is at the stage in his career where he's gonna make sure there's no more Jose Luis Castillo fights in his career.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a dominating performance. He's gonna put on. Now, real quick, just because I'm on this thought. We talk about somebody who's quick and fast and you know might pose a little bit of a challenge. How do you feel about the rumblings of the fight between Floyd going over to UK and fighting Amir Khan?
I'd go take that money. There's no way that Amir Khan even remotely has a chance of beating Floyd Mayweather, whether it's in the park or whether it's in the UK or whether it's in Dallas. It does not matter. Okay, that's one fight where there's probably less than 1% of a chance that Amir Khan has of beating Floyd. It's just, but the money's there in the UK. So go on and take that money. Go on and take that other, $30 million or whatever you're going to get out there and bring it, because that's easy money. Okay, because they'll pay for that fight. They'll pay for that fight.
And Floyd has a huge following in the UK. Those people love him. I mean, it makes business sense. And at this point, Floyd purely is about business. I think that fight might happen. I love to see it because I have no problem. Everyone knows that
that very very well may be one of the next fights on his Showtime contract. I mean, because he has to fight somebody. I mean, he has to fight somebody. I would like to see that, and then let him take care of that, because obviously everyone would be happy. Amir Khan would be happy. He'll make his $5-10 million. He can retire from boxing, a very rich man, because he didn't turn out to be the boxer he was supposed to be early going. Because early in his career was an Amir Khan fan, if you remember.
Oh, I remember.
I really liked him, and I still think Amir Khan has good skills and fast hands or something, but boxing is not in your game when you don't have the chin.
There you go.
It doesn't happen.
Well, see, and that's why I think the fight might be interesting for one reason, is because Floyd, let's just be honest about this. The guys that have stopped Amir Khan are guys that are big punchers. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Floyd's not a big puncher. I mean, so I see this fight, potentially being very interesting. Now, just remember
that's
this.
What I mean.
Remember this. Amir Khan is 5'11". Floyd's 5'8". Okay? Amir Khan, he's got fast hands.
Yeah, he does.
There's another guy that I don't like. He runs his mouth too much, but he's got fast hands. And he doesn't back down from anybody. I'll give him a little.
He doesn't.
He doesn't back down. I think from a purely business standpoint, this fight makes a lot of sense. From inside the ring, I think you and I agree that at some point, Floyd just goes in and starts to give him a boxing.
Well, I think Floyd knocks him out.
You think he knocks him out?
He knocks him out simply because when you have a glass jaw, number one, you have to have a defense, and that's something that Amir Khan's past coaches and present coach don't know how to do. They don't know how to teach him the defense of protecting that jaw. Okay, and I think he's not going to learn that part. Okay, so he's always got his chin out to be hit. He gets hit, he steps straight back and gets hit with the second shot. So I see a scenario where Floyd would knock him out. It'd be similar to the Ricky Hatton, where he knocked him into the ropes silly. It's just that's the way. When you open yourself up and you get hit with the shot, and then you cannot protect yourself from a second and a third shot, you're going down. It doesn't matter if it's a heavy-handed puncher against you. You're just going down from that second and third punch. So I think it's going to happen. So.
Well, there you have it, folks. I think you got some good assessments here from the trainer, and we'll see what happens. We're looking forward to our next segment of Inside Boxing Throwdown. hopefully we'll be joined by Eric Sugarfoot Duran, so we can get some real good input on his insights on the fight coming up here October 19th at the First Bank Center in Broomfield, Colorado, here where we'll have hometown favorite Mike 303 Alvarado taking on Ruslan Provodnikov on October 19th. And
Should be a good fight.
It should be a good
Should
fight.
be a very good fight.
Undercard will actually have some local talent. The place will be packed. It's already sold out. So we'll get in depth and talk more about that as we come. Next time we'll also, we have some other fights that are coming up that we'll get into.
You got Nonito Donaire coming up with a big rematch against Big Darchinian. And you've got Garcia.
Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia.
So we got some good stuff to come up.
And I like Mikey. Mikey's going to be a good one.
I really like Mikey.
We're gonna leave you with that, and we'll come back. We'll talk about them fights. But on my wish list, I'd like to see Danny Garcia and Canelo fight. I would not be able to pick that fight.
Oh no.
I think that would be a very good fight.
Well, would that fight be at 154?
It would be wherever. But Canelo fought at 52.
Yeah. Well,
why couldn't it be at 52? But needless to say, I just think that would be a good matchup. I think that would be a good fight. So.
That might be a good one for Mexican Independence Day. Well, what does that leave Floyd? Floyd loves to fight on Mexican Independence Day. Who's he going to fight?
Floyd already made notion that he won't fight again until Cinco de Mayo.
So who's he going to fight? Real quick, just who's Floyd going to fight at Cinco de Mayo?
I don't know.
He loves to fight Mexican fighter.
I don't know.
So we'll get to see. That's good. That's good thought for you guys.
Well, Danny's not Mexican though. So
yeah, he's Puerto Rican.
So we'll see. I don't know if there is a Mexican fighter out there that can step into the ring with Floyd right now. So we'll see. It'll be interesting, but we'll see. Okay.
All right.
So in the meantime, come back and check us out. We got some good action for you, some good shows. We're actually going to start our call-in portion of the show where we're actually going to select guests to have call in, and we'll be talking with them online here during the show. So stay tuned. We're just going to get better and better. Okay.
All right.
So in the meantime, Steve,
hey, keep
those
hands
hands
up.
up.